She closed out the session this afternoon with a news conference speaking on what her administration worked with lawmakers on delivering for the state this legislative session.
But I think there's another Latin phrase to describe this legislative session. Arkansas state motto, regnat populus, the people rule. For too long, our government has been enslaved to powerful special interests. Not anymore. We do not work for them. We work for the people of Arkansas. In this session, we delivered.
You can find all of our coverage from the 95th legislative session on our website, 5newsonline.com. We'll also follow any developments on court challenges filed against new laws in the months ahead. Talk about the forecast now. It's been another gorgeous day out today. Changes, though, are on the horizon. Scott is in the Weather Center now to tell us all about that.
Yeah, changes that include a stiff south wind tomorrow. That southerly wind in northwest Arkansas could reach around 40 or so miles an hour. That'll be common most of the day. And what that does for us, it's going to push those temperatures back into the 80s. A big warm-up starts tomorrow. You're going to feel that. You're going to feel the winds out there. Otherwise, we're going to see a decent amount of sunshine, a couple of clouds passing through the area. Nice and warm day on tap here in the River Valley as well. Those winds also breezy up to about 35 miles an hour. Those winds are going to keep us nice and mild again on Friday. Can't rule out a couple of spotty raindrops early tomorrow morning. I think the better chances are going to be across that state line in Missouri, but don't want you to get caught off guard if you're in perhaps Benton, Washington, Carroll, or Madison County. A couple of real spotty raindrops out there tomorrow, but much better rain chances, and we're talking a good soaking rain, potentially even some severe thunderstorms in the forecast Friday night, continuing through Saturday and on Easter Sunday as well. There have been some changes, though. I'll walk you through those here in just a few.
All right, Scott, thanks. Tonight, the owner of Shamrock Liquor Warehouse in Fort Smith says the work to rebuild begins now after her business was destroyed in a fire this morning. Firefighters got the call just before 5 this morning to the fire there on Midland. After that was controlled, owner Shirley Yeager says she saw charred walls, broken glass, and insulation hanging from the ceilings. She says employees still showed up ready to work today. Yeager adds she is already looking forward to the day customers come back.
We hope that as soon as we're back up and running that we will see familiar faces again and they'll want to come back like they always have all these years.
Investigators are now trying to figure out what caused this fire. Today in Fayetteville, one person was hurt after a scooter crash. It happened where the Razorback Greenway crosses Sycamore around 9 this morning. Fayetteville police say a 20-year-old man was riding an electric scooter in the road when a vehicle hit him. Person was hurt but expected to make a full recovery. A federal law passed in 2005 finally taking effect next month. It's called the Real ID program and will set restrictions on what kind of identification you can use to board a plane or enter some federal buildings. Tonight, Karen Fuller verifies what Americans need to know before that deadline gets here.
Websites and commercials showing a Real ID compliant driver's license are out to let Americans know about the new Real ID requirement with a deadline of May 7th. Viewers have questions about what it all means, so we verify some common myths and clarify what's really real. Our sources are the Arkansas Department of Finance and Administration and the Department of Homeland Security. Congress passed the Real ID Act in 2005. The idea that an ID is real means the person has presented documentation confirming their identity for the purposes of boarding a commercial aircraft or accessing certain federal buildings. Real IDs have a star on the upper right corner. But as with many changes, many myths are circulating. Myth number 1, you cannot travel without a Real ID after May 7th. False. While a Real ID simplifies travel, you can still use a valid U.S. passport or other federally accepted identification to board domestic flights or enter a government office. Myth 2, it's complicated and expensive. Wrong. Upgrading your existing Arkansas driver's license to a Real ID costs just $10 if it's not time for a renewal. If it is, you pay the same $40 fee as a standard license. And you'll need a birth certificate or passport, proof of a social security number, and 2 documents showing Arkansas residency like a utility bill. Myth 3 claims you're no longer able to get a Real ID after May 7th. We can verify this is also false. You can still apply after the deadline, but until you have a Real ID, you'll have to show extra identification where required.
That was Karen Fuller reporting. Now you can find more information about the Real ID deadline on our free 5 News app. There's also details on the documents that you will need to get one. A night of food and fun. The Arkansas Children's Northwest Auxiliary getting ready for a tasting event you do not want to miss. The Dish features food and beverage tastings from more than 20 local restaurants and caterers, along with drinks and live music. Now, all the money raised goes to Arkansas Children's Northwest, especially critical as this area continues to grow.
If you drive down the interstate, I know that you've seen probably the expansion that they're working on at the hospital, and that's important for the area. We need to grow the hospital so that we can grow the services, so that we can keep people local to treat their children. I know that right now we still have a lot of people that have to go to Little Rock for services. There's a wait or there's something. So as the area continues to grow, it's going to be important that we continue to grow the hospital with it.
This is a great way to provide visibility. So if you haven't tasted some of the restaurants in the area, it's a great way to come and support an amazing cause and be able to taste, because everyone really comes in and shows up and shows out.
That night of fun starts May 1st at 6:30 at the Ledger in Bentonville. You can buy tickets online, by the way. There's also an online silent auction that opens up next week.